Welcome to my CapCut video editing tutorial for beginners. This complete course is for complete beginners who want to learn how to edit videos with CapCut. In this course, I'm going to show you how you can go from raw footage to fully edited video using nothing but CapCut on your laptop, even if you've never edited a video before. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to edit any of your videos confidently, whether you're editing it for your YouTube videos or TikTok or Instagram, or you're just starting your own content creation journey. In fact, it's so simple that my 16 years old brother learned how to edit in just 1 week with this exact same step-by-step guide. So let's dive right into it. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is how to actually download and install CapCut on your laptop. If you already have CapCut installed, then feel free to skip to this timestamp where the tutorial officially starts. But if you don't, this is how you actually download CapCut and install it into your computer. The first thing you want to do is to go to Google, and then you want to type in CapCut. Once you search CapCut, you're going to see this first result right here in your search engine. So you want to click on CapCut, the first all-in-one video editor. What you need to do is to click on download for free, and once you do that, it's going to now automatically ask you to choose a folder where you want to download it into. So you just click your folder and then click on save, and it's going to start the download process, and now it's been downloaded. Then the next thing you want to do is go to the folder where you actually downloaded that file and double click on it to actually install CapCut into your computer. Now that CapCut has been installed in your computer, the next thing you need to know how to do is how you can open projects or start new projects in CapCut. So to do that, all you need to do is to actually open CapCut on your computer. Once you double click on it, it's going to start loading. Just give it some time to actually finish loading. Now, CapCut is basically asking this for me to confirm that my computer can run CapCut smoothly. So what you want to do is to confirm. Once you confirm, it's now going to load up CapCut. Once it finishes loading, this is the interface that you'd most likely see. Now, if this is your first time actually installing CapCut on your computer, you obviously not have projects because you would not have edited any video. But I've used this software on my computer before, which is why you're seeing this project. Yours will probably be empty, right? So what you want to do is to come right here and click on Create Project. Once you click on Create Project, it's going to take a few seconds, and just like that, CapCut has officially launched. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is how you can import your raw files or videos into CapCut so you can start editing. If you want to import your files into CapCut, all you need to do is go right here where you see the import and the blue plus icon, and then click on it. So once you click on it, it's going to ask you to go to any of the folders where you have your videos saved. So for me, I'm just going to navigate and go to the folder where I have saved the raw videos that I want to edit for this example. Once you locate your files or videos that you want to edit, what you do is to actually copy them and then click on open, and it's now automatically imported into your video editor. Another way to do this is to actually go to your folders menu, and once you get to the folders menu, you want to navigate to the folder where you have your videos saved, and once you do that, all you need to do is to minimize this particular folder, and then you copy the 2 files that you want to import and then drag them into CapCut. So this is also another way that you can import the videos into CapCut. Now, the next thing I'm going to be showing you how to do is how to move your clips or videos that you just imported into your timeline. Now, even though you've imported your raw files, if you do not actually move them to the timeline, which is right here, this is your timeline. If you don't move them to the timeline, you will not be actually able to edit your videos. So to move them, there are a couple of ways you can actually move your videos to the timeline so you can start editing. The first way is to actually come to your media files. So these are your media files, the videos you just imported, and then look at the video you want to edit and then click on this blue plus icon right here. So if you click on it, it's automatically going to be added to your timeline. Another way you can add stuff to your timeline is to actually drag and drop. So click on the video you want to put into your timeline, drag it, and then drop it on your timeline just like this, right? You can also preview the video. So let's say, for instance, I'm not sure, I have a lot of videos right here in my media files and I'm not sure which one I want to edit first. One way to preview is to actually double click on the video and then you can watch it through right here in your media player. So as you're watching this, maybe you don't want to use the whole video, you just want to use like maybe a few minutes of the video. As you can see, this is an 8-minute long video. So if I wanted to just use 1 minute, I can actually click on this, watch this, preview it right here in my media player, and then when it gets to the part that I want, I can just import that bit. So let's say I want to import from this part where the cursor is to the end of the video. All I need to do is to put my cursor here. When it changes to the trim icon, you can just drag it all the way, right? Drag it to the points where you want to actually start the edit from, and then bring it in. So this way, it's basically trimmed the video to the parts where you want to actually start editing before you bring it into your timeline. So that way, all the unnecessary parts are not going to be imported into your timeline. So the next thing I'm going to be showing you is how to split, how to cut, how to delete the parts of your video you actually do not want. So if you go through this footage right here, you see that there are lots of parts where I made some mistakes and there are parts where I'm not really saying anything, right? So if I zoom this in, you can see from here, if you look at the waveform, the audio down here and these waveform, you see that I wasn't really saying anything from the beginning of the video up until this point. So it's just silence, right? I wasn't saying anything. There are some points in this video where I made mistakes and I had to do retakes as well. So you might find yourself in that situation where you actually want to make cuts in your video. So to actually cut the parts of the video you do not want, all you need to do is to come to your timeline, click on the video that you actually want to make the cuts on, and then play it. So as you can see, let's say I want to cut out this part where I'm not talking in the beginning. All I need to do is look at the parts where I start to talk, and then I zoom in the timeline to make sure that I'm not cutting out any of the parts where I'm actually talking, and then come to this part right here where I actually started to talk. I'll keep my cursor right here where I want to cut from, and then I click on the video, then click on split right here. So if you look up here, these are your editing tools, right, that you can use to edit your video. So if you look right here, this one is the split, and you can see it's spelled under as well. If you're not sure, just put your cursor on each of these individual things and you'll see what each of them are meant for. So click on split, and once you click on split, your video is now split into two, right? You can see it right here, it's been cut. So you can now click on the part you don't want, where you're not really saying anything, and then click on spacebar on your computer to delete it. You can also click on the delete button on your computer to delete it, or you can also click on this delete right here. As you can see, it's written under the icon delete. So you can click on that as well to delete the parts you do not want. Also, you can trim the video as well, right? So instead of doing the delete the way I did before, let's go back to our example, the beginning of this video where I'm not really saying anything. All I can do instead of using split is to actually trim. So to trim, all you need to do is to take your cursor to the beginning of the clip you want to trim, and then once it changes from your cursor to this trim icon, then click on it and drag it till it gets to the point where you actually start talking, or the point where you want the video to start, and automatically your video is trimmed. So now from the beginning of this video, you don't see any unnecessary pauses where I'm not actually talking or doing anything. So the next thing I'm going to show you how to do is how to add J-cuts and L-cuts to your videos. These J-cuts and L-cuts basically help your transition from one clip to the other smooth and just seamless, right? So as you can see, there are 3 different clips on my timeline that I've cut and split. So these are the parts of the video I'm editing right now that are actually good. But because I did like these sharp cuts, if I play these videos back to back, you'll see that the transition from this clip to the other clip is quite awkward. So let me play for you so you see what I'm talking about. Never edited a video before. By the end of this video, so you see right there, as I finish talking and making one point and then I move to the other, there's a cut here, so you can see clearly that the transition from the first clip to the second clip is not really smooth. So the J cuts and the L cuts basically help that transition from one clip to the other become smoother. Now you can actually zoom this in a bit and trim it even some more, which is what a lot of people do. So if I zoom it in, you see that there are still some gaps or silences here, so you can actually close these gaps to make that transition smoother. But even if you do that, there's still going to be an obvious cut. So let me play it again so you see what I'm talking about. By the end of this, so it's obvious there's a cut there, but usually what I like to do is add the J cuts and the L cuts to hide the cut. I mean, it's not going to be like there's no cut at all, but it makes it difficult for people to guess where the cuts are happening. And this is something people comment a lot in my videos. When I make videos, they're always talking about how smooth my delivery is, and it's because of this trick that I use when I'm editing my videos. So before you do your J cuts and your L cuts, there's one thing that you need to do, which is to turn off your main track magnet. So if you look right here, you see this blue color right here, and underneath you see turn off main track magnets. Now what does that do? The track magnet basically just magnets all the videos on your main track together. So if I were to click on this video and move it or shift it here and leave it, it automatically magnets back to this one. If for whatever reason I accidentally move this to the top, you see that the video that was you know, at the extreme end just automatically magnets to the first one, right? So that's what the main track magnet does. But if you're to do J cuts and L cuts, you don't need that. So what you want to do is first of all come here and turn off the main track magnet. Once you turn it off and I move this, you can see that it no longer magnets to the first clip as well, right? So you want to do this first. Then the next thing you're going to do is to actually lap the videos on top of each other. So let me show you how to do that. The first thing is obviously to zoom in so you see your timeline clearly. Then if you look right here, let me increase the waveform so you see. If you look right here, you see that the audio, this is the part where I'm talking, right? You see that this is the last thing I said. This right here is the last thing that I said in this video, right? So what you want to do when you're doing your J cuts is to actually overlap the last thing you said in your first clip with the first word you say in your second clip, right? So now that I've overlap them, you see this is the first word I said in my second clip, and this is the last word I said in my first clip. So if I play it back, you kind of hear what I said here, which is the last word on my first clip, but you also hear the first word in the next clip as well. So let's play it so you can hear it for yourself. By the end of this, right? So that sharpness is no longer there because these two words are overlapped on top of each other, right? Now you can still see that the cut is there because I've not done the next thing, which is to actually extract the audio. So to do that, you copy these two clips and then you right click and then go to extract audio right here. Once you extract the audio, as you can see, the audio has now been detached or removed from the video. So now you can play around with it. So what I like to do is to actually click on the second one, and then I like to trim the video of the second one. Now, the reason you're detaching the audio first, if you don't detach the audio and you do this, you're also going to be losing your audio as you trim the video of the second one. So now that I've detached it, my audio is still here, but my video is now all the way over here. So what this does is as you're playing your video, when it gets to the end, you start to hear the audio of your second clip, but you're still seeing the video of your first clip. And this makes the transition much smoother. This is a trick that even filmmakers use when they're editing movies, where if they are going from one scene to the other, you'd hear the audio from the next scene before you start to see what's happening in the next scene. So this is the technique we're using right here, and it's called the J-cut. So now I'm going to play this so you can see the difference.
Never edited a video before. By the end of this video,
right? I don't know if you caught that, but it's much smoother.
And your laptop, even if you've never edited a video before. By the end of this video,
it's definitely much smoother. You can't really tell that there's a cut. I mean, you can now because you're seeing the timeline and you're seeing what I'm doing and I'm explaining it, so you probably can tell. But if you were just randomly watching this video and you are not seeing the timeline, it would be a lot harder for you to tell that there is a cut there because the transition is so much smoother. So the next thing I want to show you is how you can nest your files or your videos on your timeline or create compound clip. They actually mean the same thing, right? So the reason you want to do this is, you remember how we kind of extracted the audio while we're doing our J-cut? If you do not nest your clips before moving on to the next step of your editing, what tends to happen is sometimes you can accidentally move something and then the audio and video of your clips would no longer sync, right? So for example, maybe I'm editing and then I accidentally move this clip. Because the audio of this clip is detached to the video, I have moved the video, but the audio still remains the way it was. And because of that, the lip will no longer sync with my video. So if I play this back, you'd be seeing my lip moving, but then the audio will probably be saying something completely different. And you do not want that, right? So what you do is, once you're done doing your J-cuts and your L-cuts, the next thing you do is to actually create a compound clip or nest all your files. So the way to do this is to, first of all, select all the videos on your timeline like this. And once you do this, or you can also do select all the clips on your timeline by clicking Control A or Command A, depending on whether or not you're using Mac or Windows. So once you've selected all of them, what you want to do is to right click and go to Create Compound Clip. Once you click on Create Compound Clip, all the clips and all the audio files on your timeline is now turned into one consistent clip that you can now edit without fear. So now that it's now a compound clip, if I accidentally move this, the audio is also moved as well. So I don't have any fear. All I need to do is to move this back to the beginning of the timeline and I'm good to go, right? This is definitely going to save you a lot of time, a lot of hassle, and a lot of trouble. The next thing I'm going to be showing you how to do is to color grade your files or your videos. Once you've done your cuts and every other thing, the next thing I like to do when I'm editing my videos is to actually color grade. Because sometimes you may think your video looks good and cinematic, but the lights, the colors and everything may not be as great as you'd like them to be. So color grading basically just adds that cinematic feel, makes your videos more appealing when people are watching it. So to color grade, all you need to do is, first of all, click on your compound clip that we just created. And then what you want to do is come up here and then click on adjustments and click on custom adjustments and then drag that into your timeline. Next thing you want to do is to just extend this. As you can see, this video is way longer. It's like 1 minute long, but then the adjustment layer that was added is just a few seconds long, like 3 seconds or thereabout. So what you want to do is first drag this, extend this to the end of your clip so that whatever effect or color grading you add on your adjustment layer is going to cover the whole of your video that you have on your timeline, right? So once you do that, next thing you want to do is to click on the adjustment layer and then come to this adjustment panel. This is where you're going to do the magic of color grading. Now, the easiest way to color grade your video is to actually click on auto adjust. So auto adjust, CapCut has an AI feature that literally just analyzes your video and then tells you the best settings you can use to color grade your video. So if I were to click auto adjust, AI is going to do its magic, and as you can see, my color grade has been added. If you feel like the color is too intense, as you can see, this light looks really good. You know, the brown panel behind me looks good. I can see the green plant, I can see the basket, like all the colors are now showing my skin tone and everything looks great, right? If you feel like the intensity of the color grade is a bit too much, you can also adjust the intensity. So right now it's at 80, but I can reduce the intensity all the way to 0. So 0 is the original way it was, but then I can increase it until I get to the intensity I want. I think 80 for me is a bit too much. It's too harsh. The contrast is a bit too much. So if I were to color grade this, I would probably leave it somewhere around, 40 something, at most 50, right? So this looks good. So if I was to turn off the adjustment layer, you can see this is how the video looked before, and now with the color grade, this is how it looks, which is much better. You can again increase the intensity of this so you can see the before and the after, right? So this is like the easiest way to go about the color grading. But if you want to manually do this, like I said, sometimes I like to manually color grade, because there are sometimes when you use the AI auto color grade thing, there are some things that are a bit too much that I can't really control. So to do that, all you need to do is to scroll down to this part that says color and just manually change these things. So what you want to change first off is the temp, which means temperature, and then you want to change the tint, you want to change the saturation, exposure, depending on the video and how exposed it was when you're shooting. You want to change the contrast, the shadows, and all of those things as well. The highlights, whites, blacks, brilliance, and all of those. So for me personally, I like to start with the temperature. So the temperature basically helps with the temperature, and the tint basically helps with the color correction. So there are sometimes you'll be shooting a video where the whites in the video is no longer white. Maybe you were wearing like a white shirt, and because you did not get the camera settings well, the white is starting to look like it's yellow. So in those cases, you use the temperature and the tint to adjust the white balance, so your whites and your blacks in your video are looking the way that they are supposed to look, like the way they should look in real life, right? So there are some cases, like as I'm holding up this mouse that is white, if my white balance setting on my camera is not really good, you would start to see that this is looking yellowish. So if I'm editing, I would want to correct that. So that's what the temperature and the tint is for, right? So what I want to do for this one, I feel like the temperature can be improved. So the first thing I want to do is to increase my temperature. But before I do that, I want to show you the difference, right? So if I move the temperature all the way to the blue, you see how bluish it looks, right? This light is supposed to be yellow. In real life, you can even see it behind me right now. It's supposed to be yellow, but when I take it all the way to the blue end of the temperature, you can see that this is no longer having that yellow feel, and you can see the brown on the wall also has like a blue cast to it. My skin tone that's usually brown and chocolate is also looking blue. My hair is looking blue, which is not ideal, right? But if I take it all the way to the other side, it's now looking orange. Everything on my screen is looking orange, which is also not ideal. So what you want to do is take it to a place where the things in the frame, from the lights to the plants to my skin to my hair, has the natural color that it's supposed to have in real life. So for me, I'll just move it towards like the yellow part, the warm part, because I want my skin tone, which is the browns here, the yellow lights behind me, to have more of the original organic feel, right? So I think this for me is pretty good. I'll just leave it here at 15. If I take it any further, it starts to look orange. So you can just eyeball it, look at it, just increase until you start to see that it's now looking out of the ordinary, right? So around 15, 16-ish is good for me, right? The next thing I want to add is some tint. So you can see that there is greens here. If I was to move the tint all the way to the green, even my skin tone, the lights behind me, everything is now looking green. If I move it to the extreme end, everything is now looking magenta, or purplish, which is not ideal. It's not natural. So what I'll do is to look for a sweet spot where my greens are still green, and then the warm tones in my video are still warm without it having like the magenta white like casts, right? So this pretty much looks good for me. You just want to eyeball it. What you do if you're just starting out and you're not sure, move it to the extreme end and then move it back, and then just see where it makes sense, you know, in terms of the color representation you're seeing in your video. Then the next thing is obviously the saturation. So saturation is just like the intensity of the color, how much color is in it. So for me, for this, I want to add the saturation a bit more. So let me show you again what each of the ends are like. If I was to reduce the saturation, it turns to black and white, which obviously is not normal because I have brown skin, the lights behind me is yellow, like everything should have their natural color. Then if I move it all the way, it's now looking red, right? Which is also not ideal. So you just eyeball it and just increase it a bit so the colors pop. So as I've increased this, you start to see the yellow a bit more, and my skin tone, the green behind me, everything starts to pop a bit more without it looking too reddish. And at the same time, it's not looking like black and white as well. So the next thing is the exposure. Again, every video, the settings you use for each of these things would vary depending on the video you're color grading. So for this video, the exposure while we're setting up the lighting is quite good. So increasing it will just make the video look washed out. So because of that, I'll just leave the exposure. But there are some cases where you might need to bump up the exposure a bit more or drop it some more. But if I drop it, you can see that it's now looking dark, which is not the feel that I want for this particular video. Another thing to bear in mind is the contrast as well. Again, these things would differ depending on the video you're editing. So if I take the contrast all the way down, it just basically washes out the video, right? Reduces like a lot of the shadows and the blacks in the video. And then if I take it all the way up, you see that my hair and all these shadows and all these black parts are becoming more intense. So depending on the video, again, you can just make this adjustment. For this video, I think the shadows are quite okay. The contrast is quite okay. I'm liking what I'm seeing, so I'm not going to play around with this too much. Highlights also, if you increase it, you start to see that some of these parts where their highlights are blowing out, which I also don't want. So reduce this. If I take it all the way down, you can see how dark the video is looking as well. So you just want to eyeball it. There is no formula, there is no particular setting that is a one size fits all. It's all depending on the raw material, that's the video you're editing, and what it's looking like at the moment you're editing it. So just move this, toggle these things around and see how it looks, if it looks natural to your eyes. You can also use a reference. So maybe look for a video that someone has edited that looks really good, that you like, and have the reference video in your media files so that you can go back to it to see if what you're doing looks off or not. Then another thing here is the whites. Again, if you toggle it all the way down, you can see that it's cutting out all the whites in the video. And if you take it all the way up, it's blowing all the whites in the video out of proportion. Like I said, when this video was being shot, there are lots of these things that we actually considered and adjusted the settings. So a lot of these things I don't essentially need to do. But one thing I'm going to do is the brilliance. So the brilliance, just like it also adds like a pop of color to your video and makes it just overall brighter, better as well. So I'll just bump up the brilliance a bit. So let me show you the extreme. If I take it all the way, you see how oversaturated and blown out the video is. If I take it all the way down, you see how awful it looks. So for me, for this particular video, somewhere here where it just lifts the video overall and gives it an amazing feel. So I'll just let it be somewhere around here. right? You don't want to do too much, you don't want to add too much. Sometimes just little tweaks, subtle changes here and there can do the trick. The next thing I want to do is also to add like sharpening as well. So what sharpening will do is basically to just help the video be more vibrant. Sometimes when you're doing color grade and all of these things, the face and the skin and some other parts of your body and even the overall video can start to feel a bit dull. So I add a little bit of sharpening, just like my hair, the glow, the lights, all of these lights hitting my skin, just to sharpen it a bit more, so that it's more pronounced, right? So if I'm to overdo this, you can see how weird it looks. So just a little bit of it, just like 3 should do. So all of these lights and everything looks sharp. My skin and everything looks sharp. Another thing some people like to add is the vignette. I also don't like adding it, but what vignette does is to create like a black shadow or like a dark round feel to your video. I'll just show you. So if you add it, this is what it's going to look like a circle, dark, you know, cast right around your video, like the edges of your video, that some people like when they want to create like stylistic videos. But I do educational videos, so I don't typically add this because I just want people to watch and see the background and my face and everything and the information I'm giving to them. So I don't add this, but if you want to, you can just add a little bit of this if you want to have like a stylistic feel or cinematic feel to your video as well. This is strictly based on preference and what you're trying to achieve. So for me, I'm not going to add that as well. So that's pretty much it for color grading. So with all of these manual settings, if we come here and hide the adjustment layer, this is what the video looked like before, and with the color grading, this is what it looks like. It just feels more alive, more, you know, just more intentional, cinematic if you may, and it just looks better, especially the lighting right here at the back, how the lights reflecting on the brown fields and how they interact with each other, and the green, my skin, the light hitting my screen and my skin and everything just looks way better in my opinion, right? So that's pretty much how to do it. But if you're fairly new and you feel like you can't do all of this, is too much, again, there is always the auto adjust that you can start with till you get a hang of it, right? Then you can start to manually change this input. Now that you know how to color grade your footage, how to cut and do all of the basic things, now I'm going to teach you how to even elevate your video a bit more by adding inserts, aka B-rolls. Now, if you're doing talking head videos like this, sometimes the videos can get a bit boring when people are just watching you talk from beginning to the end, right? So to add spice to your videos, one thing you can do is to actually add B-rolls to your footage. So there are a couple of ways you could do this. You can actually shoot the B-roll of you doing the thing that you want to show, or you can basically just download it from free B-roll sites. One way to do this is to go to Google and then you just want to type free stock videos. So once you search free stock videos, you're going to see a bunch of results right here that you can download free stock videos. So let's try this one. I've used this a couple of times and it worked really well. So let's just try it to see. So if you click on Pixabay, is one of the ones that I always use if I want to download free stock videos. You can come right here and it's already in videos. But they have like other things like photos, illustrations, sound effects, and all of that. So for this, to keep things simple, I'll just look for a video. So it's already in video. What you want to do, like I said, we're trying to look for a video of someone editing a video. So we can look for terms like video editor, and now it's going to show us stock videos relating to what we're searching for, right? So sometimes stuff like this can happen where you're actually searching and you don't find what you're looking for. All you need to do is just change the search term. Here I'm seeing a couple of B-rolls. So this is a computer, like a B-roll of a computer with someone like opening like their editing software that you can see, right? Then there's a video editing setup right here as well. That someone is using. You can see their cameras, you know, that they use to shoot videos and all of that, their headset and all of that as well. Then this is a video of the person actually editing, and the screen they're editing on as well, so you see the whole thing. Then this is someone editing on their phone. I think this looks like a picture they are editing as well on their phone. So you just see a bunch of different things that you can just use. So you just keep scrolling until you find one that you like. So for this example, let's say that this is the clip we want to use. All you need to do is to click on this, and then you'll see the download button right here. So just click on download and it will automatically be downloaded into your computer. Of course, you're going to choose like the folder you want to save it in, and it will download into your computer officially. Right, let's go back to CapCut now that we've downloaded this. All you need to do is to import the file that you just downloaded, just like we did with our A rolls right here. So click on import. Once you click on import, you go to the folder where you downloaded your B-roll into, and then click on that file that was just downloaded, click on open, and now it's been added into your timeline. So what you want to do is click on this and drag it into your timeline, and officially that video has now been added to your timeline as your B-roll. You might want to trim it to the parts where you want, just like we did with our main video, because this is quite long, right? You can trim it to the part you want, and just like that, you have your B-roll added to your video. Let's say again, I'm talking about how to edit video on CapCut, and I want like the CapCut logo to pop on screen. Another thing that I can do is to go back to Google and type in CapCut logo, and then add PNG or transparent PNG or without background as well, so you can get the PNG format. So these are all CapCut logos you can download and add to your video. Another way you can download the icons is to actually go to a platform that has like free PNGs that you can download to make your edits with. So one that I really like to use is Vecteezy, and it's also on the Google search page as well. So if you click on it right here, you're going to see this is the CapCut logo, and then they also have like other PNGs without background that you can download as well, depending on what you're trying to achieve. So this one looks good. All I can do is come right here and click on download now. And once I click on that, obviously you need to log in, but I don't want to log in just because of this tutorial. But once you log in, you would be able to download this into your computer and you're good to go. So again, just like we did with the B-roll, all you need to do is click on import and then go to your file that you just downloaded right here and import it into your files. Once you do that, again, just drag and drop into your timeline, and now your CapCut logo or icon is now attached. Now the size of this is quite large, so you can basically reduce the size by scaling it, which I'm going to show you much later how to do, how to scale and all of those, so don't worry. But for now, let's say we want the CapCut logo to appear somewhere here. All you need to do is resize and reposition it where you want it to be, and yeah, you're good to go. Just like that, your B-roll has been added. Your CapCut logo has also been added as well. If you want to trim it, just like anything else, feel free to trim it to the duration that you want and position it where you want it to appear on your timeline, maybe the beginning or towards the end, whatever. Just make sure that you put it where you want it to be. And just like that, you've added your icon or logo to your video. Now, the next thing I'm going to teach you how to do is how to add transitions to your videos. Now, the transitions would make your video more engaging. See how we added this B-roll right here of the video editor, and also we added the CapCut logo to our screen. Because there is no transition, it looks quite boring. It just appears on the screen and is quite boring. So to add more engagement and to add more flair, we can add transitions to that. And there are two ways to do that. The first way is to add transitions automatically using CapCut. CapCut has like amazing animations and transitions that you can use to apply to whatever, but there is also a manual way of doing them, and I'm going to show you how to do both of them. Right, so the first way to add transitions basically is the manual way. So let's say we want to add transitions to this B-roll right here. We want it to come in from the side like sliding or something instead of just appearing randomly on the screen. What you can do is come to animations here. And once you click on animations, you're going to see in and out and combo. In means how you want this video to come into your screen, right? So there are a bunch of them right here, so you can actually just play around with them and see what you like. So if you click on this, like this is what the transition is going to look like. So the video is going to come in like this. If you click on this, this is how it's going to come in. If you click on this, this is how it's going to come in, which is quite good, right? So you want to check all of them and see the one that you really like. I really like this zoom out. It's quite classy, so you might select that or not. Then after you select any of the in transitions, you click on out as well, because just as the in transition is important, the out transition is also important as well. So you can come to this part and then look at all the different transitions that they have for the outro of the B-roll, and just basically play around with them, check them. Anyone you click on, you'll see how it would disappear on the screen. So I also like this mini zoom as well, but there's fade out as well. So it basically just fades into your main A-roll, which is quite great. And then they have some other ones like this one that basically just fades like the screen and then just crosses it as well. It's called the Destroyer. And then they have the blurred in as well, and a lot of others as well that you can just experiment with. I basically just like to go for like the simple minimalist ones because they're more classy. So I might do like a fade out or this mini zoom as well, something very simple and classy. Another thing you can do is to change the duration of the transition. So if you come down here, you see the duration. So this is for 0.5 seconds. That's the in, and then the out is 0.5 seconds as well. So if you want this to last longer, you can just drag this in a bit and the transition is going to stay longer on your screen. Then the outro as well, if you drag it a bit more, is going to stay longer on the screen before it eventually goes off, right? So that's the way that you can do the in and the out transition automatically. There's also a manual way of doing this as well, and I'm going to show you how to do that manually when I'm teaching you how to do animations and showing you how to use keyframes as well. But for now, this is like the simplest way you can actually add animations. So let's do this again for the CapCut logo. Let's say we want the CapCut logo to pop on our screen. I would actually like to make this a bit bigger, right? And you want to pop this up from maybe the bottom or something. Come to animations, come to in, and look for an animation that comes from the bottom that you can use for this. So this is a shake where it pretty much just shakes on the screen. Then you just want to scroll down and look for other ones until you find one that has that slide from bottom effect or feel that you want to use. All right, so this one right here called slide up does exactly that. So as you can see, after clicking on it, you see how the CapCut logo slides from the bottom of the video to the position that I want it to be. Then click on out again and you just basically scroll down until you see maybe the slide to bottom or slide down, and select that as well, and the video the CapCut logo is going to do exactly that, slide in and out. So this one right here says slide down. So if I click on that, it's going to slide out, right? So this is how it pretty much looks, how it slides in and it slides out as well. Now there's another way to add transitions, which is to add overlays as well. So to add overlay, that's a more interesting way to add like your transitions. So I have a couple of overlays, but you can always download overlays. So there is one called Film Burns, which I really love to use. So again, come to your Google and type Film Burns. So you see right here, Film Burn transitions, and then you just click on one that's free and just download anyone that you see that you really like. So this one right here looks good. So this looks good. All you want to do is click on free download and it's going to, you download it into your computer. Right, when it's done downloading, you go back to CapCut, and just like we imported the others, what you want to do is to come to your media panel, click on import, and then go to your download folder where you downloaded that film burn and import it in, and this is what the film burn looks like. So what you want to do is to add it as an overlay, put it on top the part where you want the transition to happen. So usually you want to add a transition when you're going from one scene to the other. So see how we went from my talking head video to this part of the video where there's the B-roll. You can add a transition right there. So let's just cut this and bring this way and then add it right here. Right, so just like that. I would still like to trim it a bit more because I feel like that was too long. Now that you've trimmed it, you've added your overlay right here, right? But there are some black parts that I can see, so what you want to do is reduce the opacity. So to add the opacity or the blend mode, all you need to do is to click on the overlay that we just added or the film burn that we just added, and then come right here to basic and then scroll all the way down. You're going to see blend right here. So if it's not checked, if it's unchecked, make sure you check this, and once you check it, you're going to see this default right here. Also put your cursor on top of it so you see what's your. So now the problem here is that this part that is black is covering my talking head or like this transition right here, and we don't like that. We want to remove this. So come here to blend, check it, and then go to default and click on it, and you're going to see a couple of different templates that you can use. So what you want to choose is brighten. Once you click on brighten, you can now see that the film burn is still here. My video, my talking head video is still here, and you gradually transition into the B-roll, which is the video editing B-roll we just added, right? So now if I play it back, this is what it would look like, which is really classy, really amazing, seamless transition from one clip to the other. You can also duplicate this or copy this and paste this right here again. So you can go from this video back to the talking head like this. Very easy. Now, if you want to make this even more interesting, then you want to add like sound effects underneath this to give it more live, and I'm going to show you how to add music and sound effects later in this video as well. The next thing I'm going to show you how to do is how to add text to your videos. Now, there are different types of text that you can add to your video. We have the captions, which basically just whatever you're saying in your video, you're just writing them out as captions, and they're usually put in like the lower third of your video. Then we also have titles, which maybe you have like an important thing that you're saying, you want to title it. It's basically at like the middle of your video with a background, or sometimes even on top of your main clip as well, and a few others as well. So I'm going to be showing you how to add like 3 different styles of text in your video when you're editing. The first one is captions, right? So you're probably already familiar with this. If you want to add captions, maybe whatever you're talking about or saying in your video, you want it to show on the video so that people can also read along. That is a caption text. And to add that, all you need to do is to first of all click the video you want to translate and do the translation. So what you want to do is click on this video and then come to this part that says caption on the toolbar. Click on caption. Once you click on caption, you will see generate. So you want to click on generate, and it's the AI is automatically going to translate your voice, whatever you're saying in your video, into caption. And once it's done, it's automatically going to add your caption. Alright, so just like that, our text has now been added to our timeline. So this is everything that I said in this video from beginning to the end. Now you want to go through and read this, play your video and actually read the text to make sure that there are no mistakes, because sometimes AI can make mistakes, right? So you want to make sure that you check to correct any spelling errors. If there are any spelling errors, what you can do is to pretty much click on that part that has a spelling error and then come right here and just make the correction on the text. The next thing you want to do is to actually edit your caption or your text. So as you can see right here, this is the default caption or default text that was given, and it's quite bland, it's quite boring. So one thing you can do is to change the font style. So this is like the default font that's given to you every time you generate. So you can basically scroll through and see other fonts that are here and try to change the font. That's going to make it look much better. So I typically like to go with Rubik, which is a font that I think I really love. So I click on Rubik and you can see instantly the text looks way better because this is just a more elegant font, right? So that's one thing you can do to change the feel of your caption. Another thing you can do is to play around with the font size. So the font size basically is how big or how small you want your font or your captions to be, right? So you just want to play around with that. I think I like this style. Then you might also want to play around with the case. So uppercase means you're turning everything to capital letter. Then lowercase means you're turning everything to lowercase or small letter. And then title case means that the first letter of each word is going to be caps while the other ones are going to be small letters, right? So you want to just play around with this and see what you kind of like or what you're feeling as well. Then you might want to play around with the color. Typically I just like to keep captions white, but you might want to play around with the colors as well. So this is white, but if you want to change it, you can click on this and then change these colors, right? So if I move this here, you kind of see how different the colors are changing. But like I said, I just like to keep my text, especially captions, white. So you can basically play around with the colors right here. The characters, basically what this means is how far the letters and the words are from each other. So if you increase this, you see more and more space. I typically don't even touch this and I just leave it the way it is. Then the line as well, if this was more than one line, it's how far the lines are from one another, right? So that's pretty much. So for this one now that has two lines, if you increase the lines, it's basically just separates the first and the second line. That's what it does. Again, this is something I don't really touch or play around with because I like how this looks for my captions. Then you can also change the placement of the text as well. If you want to move it, you just click on the text and move it up a bit. If you want to change the position as well. So that's pretty much it. CapCut also has like a couple of features that you can use or templates that you can use for your caption. So if you come to template here, you're going to see a couple of templates that you can apply to make your captions even more alive. So this first one now, if you click on this, this is how your caption is going to be looking, where like the special word that you're saying at the time is highlighted purple, right? Then there is this one as well.
Welcome to my CapCut video editing tutorial.
Right, so that's what that looks like. So you can just scroll through and see if there's any particular template that you like that you want to use. I typically just stay away from using templates because everybody uses templates because they are easy to use. So I typically just stay away from them and try to manually do things the way I would like them to be. But if you want to use the templates, you can always come here, play around and see stuff that you like and use it. For me, I pretty much like how this looks, the white colored caption and the way it looks right here. So I'll just leave it like that. Also, I can add a bit of shadow as well. So if you scroll all the way down, you can add shadow to your text. So if I click on shadow, you can see that the shadow has been added to the text so that it's more like it's easier to read. And I can reduce the opacity of the shadow a bit and then increase the blur a bit and also change the distance if you want. And yeah, just play around with that, which makes the text easier to read. You can also do special text. So if I want to highlight like a particular word, I can come here, click on that word. So let's say tutorial, I want to change the color of just tutorial in that sentence. I can do that by clicking on that, coming here, and then clicking on the color. So basically just come here to color, click on it, and then select a different color, and just like that, the color or the text, that particular text has been changed. Like the color of just tutorial is now changed to yellow, and it has like a glow effect and all of that, and it looks quite good. So that's pretty much how you add captions as well to your video to make it even more interesting. Now, the next type of text I want to show you how to create is called a title text. Now, unlike the captions, the title is used to basically segment your video. So let's say, for instance, at this part of the video, if I say something like on step 1 to editing your video is, and I want to put like a title, this is where the title text will come into play. So to add your title text, the first thing you want to do is to add a background to your video. So to do that, you can come down here to your media panel, click on media, come to media panel, and then you want to click on the library. Once you click on the library, you're going to see a bunch of like backgrounds that you can use for your video edit. So right here you have a black background, you have a white background as well. So let's say we are going with a white background. All you need to do is to drag and drop it on your timeline. Once you drag and drop it, the background would cover the entire video. Right? You can also download like different backgrounds. If you want a different color, you can always download different color of backgrounds as well, and then use them for your video background. Right? So once you drop your background, the next thing is to now add your default text. So to do that, all you need to do is come right here to text, click on text on your toolbar, and then click on default text, click on the plus icon to add the default text as well. Once that's done, all you need to do is drag it to cover the entire background. Now that your default text is there, you just come here and type what you want. So let's say step 1. I want to say step 1, right? So step 1, add a background. Now I can't see the text on my screen because the color of the text is white and the background is white as well. So to change the color, all you need to do is to select your text, all of them, and then scroll down, come to color, click on that, and you can change it to any color you like. So let's say we're going for this light brown color, and yeah, that's the text. Now I don't like the font. Like I said, this is the default font or default text, so it looks a bit weird. So come click on system so you can change the font to something more elegant. So click on system, and once you click on system, you're going to see a bunch of different font. So for a title, you want to go for a font that's quite bold, something that has like boldness. So again, let's go with this Rubik, but you can choose any other font that you like from your different font choices. So I'll go with Rubik, and then now you see the different the text that is looking on the background. Then you might want to change the size of the font as well, and maybe change a couple of other things as well. So let's say I want to change the step 1 and make it all caps. You just come here and select step 1, scroll down to the case and click on uppercase, and now step 1 is automatically converted to uppercase. Then you might want to maybe change this color to something else. You can select that and change the color as well, but I'll just leave this the same color, right? And I think I want to play around with the font size. So now I'll just select the entire thing and then just reduce the font size a bit. Just reduce it a little bit because I think it's too bold. Now also the space or the gap between step 1 and add a background is too much, I want to reduce that as well. So just like I explained earlier, if you want to do that, just come to the lines and you can just reduce it as well. Now the space between step 1 and add background has reduced. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can still play around, add special text or special colors or fonts or whatever you want to do. So let's say you want to change this color to yellow. You can come here, back to color, click on that and change it to this yellow. Another thing you can also do is to change this as well. Instead of having it lowercase, you can have the title case as well. Since it's a title, you can change it to title case as well. Or you can copy the whole thing and change it to title case as well, since it's a title. And this is what it's going to look like. So this is pretty much it for creating your title. Another thing you can do is to add animation as well to this. So if you come to animation, click on it. Just like I explained before, you see in, out, and loop. So for in, we might look for something like typewriter, so that this text appears on the screen like a typewriter. And then for out, you come here and look for something like a slide, and then apply that as well, so that or a fade out, so that it has that amazing effect. So I want it to slide left, so I'm just going to click on slide left, so it slides out like that. Then you can also change the duration of the transition as well, so it's longer. So that's what the title looks like if you want to add one. And this is how it slides out as well. So that's how you add a title to your video. Next, I'm going to show you how to add text behind the subject or behind you, right? So if you want to add a text behind you, it's actually very simple. So all you need to do is to bring in your footage. So let's go back to our media and let me drag in any of my videos. So let's say this is the video I want to add text behind me. All I need to do to add text behind my head is first of all come here and click on text again, just like we did with the other one. Bring the default text right here, put the default text on top of the video, right? And then extend it to however long I want it to be. Then I'm just going to write the text that I want to put behind me. So now that I've put the text right here, we are just going to go through the same process again and do exactly what we did before, customizing our text. And then also I would like to increase the size since this is going behind my head. And then once I have this, I will move it to the position that I want it to be. This is good for me. And now that I have my text exactly where I want it, the next thing I want to do is to add animation, how the text is going to come in and go out. All right, so I've added my animation to my text, but as you can see, the text is in front of my head. So if I want to take this behind me, all I need to do is to copy or duplicate this and then paste it. Instead of having this duplicated video below this one, I'm just going to put it on top of the text. So now that I've put it on top of the text, you can no longer see the text. So if you want to see the text behind me, all I need to do is to click on this one, the duplicated video that is on top of the text, and then go to remove background. Once I click on remove background, I click on auto removal. It's now the AI is going to analyze the video and remove the background as the background of my video, so it's just my body that's left. So once the auto removal is done, you can see that the text is literally behind my head now. So if I were to maybe hide this one, that's this duplicated video that I removed the background, if I was to hide it, you'll see that the text is in front of me. So this is the original video, this is the text that I just wrote behind me. and then this is the video that I just duplicated and removed the background. So that's what it pretty much looks like with the animation. So that's how you add text behind your head when editing. All right, the next thing I'm going to be showing you how to do is how to add animations manually. Initially, I told you how to use the animation presets that is already provided by CapCut, but there are some cases where you may not be able to use those presets. One of such cases is if you're using the free CapCut software, right? Some of these presets you need to have like the subscription for you to be able to use them. So if you're using the free version of CapCut, then you may not be able to use some of these transitions and some of these animations that I showed you earlier. So if you still want to add animations, even though you're using the free version and you want to manually do it, this part of the video I'm going to show you how to manually add animations to your video. So let's go back to our media. To add animations manually, all you need to do is to first of all add your clip, right? And let's say, for example, you want to put this CapCut logo on your timeline and animate it. I've put my CapCut logo on my timeline, so I'm just going to resize it a bit so it's not too big and put it somewhere here. So let's say what I want, the animation I want is scale, right? So I want this to start very small on the screen, and then I want it to get bigger like this. This is what you call scaling, right? So to do scale animation, all you need to do is go to your video settings and then click on basic. Once you click on basic, you're going to see all of these, right? So all of these things right here can be animated. So you can animate the scale, that's the size of whatever you have on your screen. You can also animate the position, you can animate the rotation, you can animate opacity, literally all of these things that you see right here. Right, so let's start with scaling. Scaling pretty much just means how small or how big a particular thing that you've put on your screen is on screen. Right, so let's say this CapCut logo, I want to make it bigger on my screen. It's this small when I imported it and I want to make it bigger over time. All I need to do is go to the beginning of the clip, right, and then come to scale and come to this side where you see keyframe. So this little diamond shaped thing that you see here with the plus icon is called a keyframe. This is what you use to manually animate your videos. So you want to click on it once first. Then when you click on it, you want to reduce the size to however small you want it to be. You can also do the reduction from here by just reducing the scale bar, right? So let's say you want it to start from this very small frame. Then you move your cursor forward to the position where you want it to scale up. And then you increase your scale to the level or the size that you want it to be, and by doing that, automatically another keyframe, a second keyframe, will be added here as well. So now what happens if you play this back is your video, your CapCut logo is going to start very small and it's going to get bigger and bigger on the screen as it gets closer to the end of the keyframe, right? So now let me show you how to now add a position keyframe. So position pretty much just means where this thing, this logo or whatever insert you're adding is on the screen. So this is a position, this is a position, this is a position as well. So if I want to move this CapCut logo from this position that it is in to say this position, how do I do that? So let's say I want the logo to start off screen and then I want it to come into frame. How am I going to do that? That's what I'm going to show you now. So just like we did with the scale, first of all, you want to take your cursor to the beginning of the file that you want to animate, and then you come to position since we're changing the position of this, and then click on add keyframe again at the beginning. Now, before you move your cursor, what you want to do is remove this from I'm just going to take this off screen, right? So basically what you're telling CapCut is, when this gets to this point, I don't want this CapCut logo to be on the screen. However, when I get to this part of the video, I want you to bring in the logo from this side where I've put it to maybe somewhere here, right? So once you get to the point where you want the logo to appear fully, you come back here to your position and then click on keyframe again. And since it's the x-axis that you're changing, you basically just come here and reduce this number, right? So this is where I want it to be. So basically, by bringing it here from outside the frame, what I've told CapCut to do is, when the video gets to this point, I want you to bring this CapCut logo from outside the frame on the left hand side and then bring it into frame to this particular position, right? So if I play it back, you're going to see how that plays out. Gradually moves in. Now this is quite slow, right? This is quite slow. So if you want it to be faster, if you want it to move in faster, what you can do is to click on this keyframe right here and then move it, drag it closer to the first one. So once you do that, you'll see that the video or the movement is going to be a bit faster, right? This is still very slow, so you just keep moving it closer until you get the speed that you want. And let's play it back again so we see how it looks like. So this is much better, right? So that's how you pretty much bring something that's off frame into frame, or something from bottom to the top or whatever. So that's how you manually add keyframes or animation to your video if you don't have the CapCut Pro version to access like the animation templates in CapCut. And in this part of the video, I'm going to be showing you how to add your background music, sound effects, and so much more as well. So to add background music, all you need to do is go to your media again and then click on import. You want to make sure that you've downloaded the background music that you want to use. Now, if you're posting on platforms like YouTube, you want to make sure that you're downloading background music or songs that are copyright free, so that you do not violate YouTube's terms and conditions, right? So there are a couple of places you can literally go and download songs for free. One of the best places is YouTube Music Library, because they have like a whole library where you can download all your songs for free, background music, whatever it is, right? So I recommend you use that, because with that there is no missing or, you know, making a mistake, because they obviously vet all the background music or songs that they have in their library. But you can also use other methods as well. So what you want to do is go on Google and you want to search royalty-free music, to make sure that you're using just songs that do not have the copyright strike or like any royalties attached to them, right? I have a couple that I've already downloaded. I'm not going to walk you through this process, but I have a couple that I've already downloaded. So what you want to do is click on import and then go to the folder where you have your background music. So for me, I have all my background music and a couple of others that I use frequently for my videos, basically just in a folder here. So what I'll do is just go to that folder and click on the one that I want to use. So these are all background songs that I use most of the time for my videos, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll just click on any random one and then just import it into my media folder. Then I'll do what I did with the others and drag it, drop it right here. And once I do that, background music has officially been added. Now, there are a couple of things you want to look out for. The first is, if it's a talking head video where you're basically sharing information and doing a couple of things, you want to make sure that your background music is lower than the voice or the audio of the person talking. Even if it's not a talking head, but you're sharing information, even if it's a vlog and you're talking, maybe it's a voiceover or whatever, and you're giving information, you want to make sure that the main audio that has the information is higher than the background music. So what you want to do in this case, when I look at the audio wave, I can see that this background music is louder than my talking head audio. So one thing you need to do is to first of all adjust the volume. So if I click on the audio and I come to my basic editing tools, I'll see volume right here. So what you want to do is to reduce the volume like this. Now you can see that the audio wave in my background music is reduced. So you just play back and then hear it. You want to play it by ear and see a good level that you leave your music so it doesn't interfere with your lead vocal. Right, so that's what it's sounding like. I feel like the background music is quite low, so I want to just increase it a bit. And yeah, that's pretty much how you add your background music and also reduce the volume or adjust the volume as well. Another thing you can do is trim it. So as you can see, the background music is way longer than the footage that I want to use it for. So if you want to trim it, just like you did with the video, how to trim the video clips, you can basically just click on the sound, bring your cursor to the end and then trim it down as well. If you want to split some, maybe you want to split some parts out and then use the ending, you can also do that. All you need to do is bring your cursor to where you want to split, click on the audio and then click on split and your audio would be split. Then you can just delete the part you don't want and then drag your audio to the beginning and trim it to the size of the video you want to use it for. And that's pretty much it. Another thing you can do with your audio is also to add fade in and fade out as well. Now, if you're editing a video, especially when you're using the background music from like the middle where the beat is already intense and high, you definitely need to fade in your background music. So what that means is the volume of the song is going to start very low and then gradually build up until it gets to the normal volume that you want to use for the rest of the video. So to do that, all you need to do is click on the audio again and then come to the toolbar or the tool panel, and then you'll see fade in under basic. So once you see that, you just want to add your fade in as well. So just don't do it too much, just add a few seconds. So like 0.6 seconds is where it's going to fade in. If you want to do it for longer, you can do that as well, but usually I just keep it at most 1 second and let it be. Then you also want to add a fade out as well, because as you can see, this song kind of fades out, doesn't fade out rather. So to add a fade out, all you need to do is click on the audio and then come to fade out and then add maybe like 1 second as well as the fade out. So this way the music fades in gradually, it gets to the peak that you want, and then it fades out at the end as well, which makes it more cinematic and enjoyable for your
Another
audience.
thing you need to know how to do is to add sound design to your video edits. This is going to give your video more life. So to do that, all you need to do, CapCut makes it so easy because they have like a library where you can get different sound effects that you can use. So I'm going to use the example of this part of the video where we had our film burn added as well. I mentioned earlier that I was going to show you how to add sound effect to the film burn. So if you look at this, right,
Complete course is for
there's like a little flicker that happens right here as the film burn appears. So I want to add like some sound effects, right? So to do that, all you need to do is to come to your audio, click on audio, and then you want to scroll all the way down until you see sound effects. So this is sound effects right here. So you want to click on sound effects, and then you're going to see a lot of them. So there are some that are trending right now. You'll see some whooshes, you'll see TikTok sound effects, and so much more as well. For film burn, I typically like to use camera clicks or paper crumpling. So you can come to this part and search for the sound effects you want. So let's just say I'm looking for camera click. I can just type and it's now going to show me all the sound effects of camera click. So you basically just want to listen. So click on anyone you want to listen to them, and once you see one that you like for the particular thing you're trying to achieve, you just click on it or drag it, drop it, and just like that, I've added my sound effect. So what I want to do is align the sound effect to when my film burn starts so that it's not out of place, right? So I'll zoom in a bit
and then drag this to when my film burn starts, and then just let it go. I'll also trim it out a bit as well. And now let's just play it back to hear how it sounds. Right, so that gives it way more life. Instead of just having the film burn there, having the sound effect definitely adds a bit more interest, and it makes it a whole lot more engaging as well. Now, this is not the only thing that you can add. There are so many other things that you can add to your video in terms of sound design. You can look for whooshes. So these are whooshes for like different transitions. So for those parts where you add transitions, you want to use whooshes. You can also add ambience. So for example, if maybe it's like a vlog type of scene where is somebody opening a tap, water is running down, and maybe the sound in the vlog is not as audible, and you want to add artificial sound, you can add the ambient sounds based off of what is happening in the video or in the environment that you're editing for. So all of those are here. You can basically just search for whatever and use it as well. Now, again, there are some of these that you can only access when you have the paid CapCut plan. So if you are using the free plan, one thing that you can do is actually to download these different sound effects from like different free platforms and import them into your media so you can use them just like you would with the templates that CapCut has provided. The next thing I want to show you how to do is how to increase the speed or reduce the speed of a particular clip. So let's say you're editing a video and you want to speed it up a bit because the video is too slow or the video is too long and you want to just shrink it a bit. This is how you do it. This will come in handy for when you're maybe you have like b-rolls or like screen recordings, just like I'm explaining this to you, and the footage you have is too long and you just want to shrink the time, slow it down, or you have a very short video or b-roll that you want to increase the duration of. This is how you do it, right? So let's say this is the video we want to speed up, right? This is the video we want to speed up. It's quite long, right? So this is the footage right here, and it's very long, over like 2 minutes long, and we want to shrink for whatever reason. We want to speed it up, make it faster. What you can do is click on the video and then come to speed right here. Click on speed. Once you click on speed, you're going to see this speed bar. So if you increase it, you're basically shrinking the size. That's speeding up the video, making it faster, thereby shrinking the duration. So this video that was over 2 minutes long, because we increased the speed and made it faster, it's now been condensed to less than, say, 1 minute, right? Then if you reduce the speed bar and decrease it, what you do is actually to increase the duration and also to do like a slow-mo type thing, right? So let's say we want to put this here. By reducing this, kind of makes this video slower. So if I play this video now, you're going to see that my actions would be very slow. Now, sometimes, especially if you are shooting the video in like 24 frames per second and not 60 frames per second, and you slow it down like this, it can make the video seem a bit choppy. So to make it smoother, what you need to do is to come here and click on smooth slow-mo. So once you click on that, the AI is going to analyze it and it's going to now make the movement smooth, even though you shot in like 24 frames and you're slowing it down. It kind of gets rid of that choppiness that the video has as well. So yeah, that's pretty much how you slow down your footage. Now, if you want to increase the speed, like I said earlier, all you need to do is come here and increase this speed meter. And once you do that, the video is going to speed up. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to change your ratio when you're editing a video. Now, what is the ratio? Ratio is pretty much this right here. It's called aspect ratio. So there are different types of like aspect ratios, right? So the first one, which is this one, is called landscape. So this is like the format that you use on your TV, YouTube, and a couple of other platforms, even cinema, right? So you're going to select the ratio for your video depending on where you want the video to show. So if you're editing a YouTube video, definitely you're going to be using this aspect ratio, right? But if you're maybe creating the video or editing the video for platforms like TikTok or Instagram, then you're definitely going to change this ratio. So click on ratio, and then you're going to see all the different aspect ratios that CapCut has available. So 16:9 is the landscape format for YouTube, for TV, for cinema, and Twitch, and all of those other platforms that has the 16:9 ratio. Then if you're uploading on TikTok, Instagram Reels, and all of that, you're going to be using 9:16 as well. So let's say this particular video, I wanted to publish it on TikTok as a TikTok reel, then I would come here, click on ratio, and then change this to 9:16. So once I do that, you can see that this ratio is now taking the form of an Instagram reel. So once it does that, you can now scale this video to fill up this screen. So to do that, again, scale is zoom in and out. So I'll just scale it, increase the scale of this until it fills up my screen. And just like that, I have a reel instead of a YouTube video. But if I want to post this on YouTube, all I need to do is come back here, click on this, go to 16:9, and my video is now turned to the YouTube format. Again, this is zoomed too close, so I need to scale it back down to fit the frame size, make it 100, and just like that, my video is back to the YouTube format. So it's depending on where you want to post your video or what you want to use it for. You can come here and change the aspect ratio to match the platform that you want to post it or you want to use it on. The next thing I want to show you is how to add watermark to your video or your personal logo to your video. So let's say you're editing your video and you want to have like your channel handle on the video somewhere as a watermark so that people cannot steal the content, or if they were to download the video and post it somewhere else, people would see that it belongs to you and you want to do that. This is how you pretty much do it. First of all, if you have a logo, it's very easy. All you need to do, just like we imported the CapCut logo, all you need to do is import your logo in here and then place it on the screen, and that's it. But I don't have my channel logo. So if you don't have a logo, you can also create a watermark. So how do you do that? Come to text, and then once you come to the text, you just basically just drag and drop your default text right here. And what you want to do is to increase the length. So you want to do this from the beginning of your video till the end of the video, right? So you drag it for the full length of your video. So let's say this is the text. You can do the same thing we do with like text. Come type your channel or your handle. So let's say I want to write Larry Nick. I can come here, write my name, and then I want to make it the title. So the beginning of the first letters of the words are in caps, and then I'll also change my fonts because I don't like this default font. So maybe look for something a bit more elegant and interesting. If you have a particular font that you use for your text, you can also import that and use that as well. So let's say we are going with this particular font. I like this, right? So we've changed the font, and you can also change the color like I mentioned earlier, but let's say we are sticking with white. What you now do is to reduce the size of this. So you can reduce this a bit and then bring it to the top of your video or to the bottom of your video, right? And that's pretty much it. You can reduce the size a bit more. I typically like to have mine somewhere here if I want to. And that's it. You have your name written on your video. You can also reduce the opacity of this if you want to. Basically just reduce the intensity So scroll all the way down and then come to opacity right here, and then you can reduce the opacity. Some people like to put the watermark in the middle of the video to make it impossible for people to copyright. So they would do something like this and then reduce the opacity all the way, so you still see the name but it doesn't interrupt you from seeing the video in itself. I honestly don't like this when people do this. It's just too distracting. So the best way to do this is to actually have it somewhere where you can increase the opacity, somewhere maybe at the top or the bottom of your video, and then increase the opacity to maybe 100 so it's seen properly. And that's pretty much it. So now when you post it on YouTube and someone downloads your video, they are going to see your channel handle, name, whatever, so they can give credit to you. So that's pretty much how you add watermark to your video as well. The next thing I'm going to show you how to do is how to export your video in the best possible quality. To export your video, all you need to do is come to export, click on it, and then this settings menu is going to open up where you can first of all change the name. So you want to name the video whatever you want to name it. So let's say CapCut. And then you select the folder where you want the video to be saved. So click on this and I'll just say downloads, click on select folder, then scroll down to resolution and select the resolution of the video that you want. Now the resolution you select will be depending on where you want to post your video. So if you're posting on platforms like YouTube or TikTok, Instagram and all of that, I recommend you use the highest resolution or 4K, right? So maintain 4K, select 4K. But if for whatever reason you want to post it on WhatsApp status, you want to reduce the resolution to maybe like 720 or even 1080p. And the reason for this is because even if you were to export this in 4K, when you post it on platforms like WhatsApp, they are going to reduce the quality, and you don't want that. So the best thing to do is to reduce the quality, so the quality of your video doesn't diminish when you post it on those platforms as well. But typically I post my videos on YouTube and other social media platforms, not necessarily WhatsApp. So because of that, I like to just stick to 4K. Then you want to leave all of the other settings exactly the way they are. So you want to maintain this codec, you also want to maintain this MP4 format, and then leave the frame rate as 30 frames per second. Then scroll all the way down to this copyright check right here. So this is really handy if you're posting on platforms like YouTube that has a lot of copyright issues or restrictions. So what this does for you, if you click on it right here, the AI is going to analyze your video, all the sounds you've used, the background music, sound effects and everything, and then it's going to tell you if it has copyright infringements or any issues with copyright. So right now, after checking this, it's telling me that my video has passed the copyright check. So with this, I know that I can post this video on YouTube or any other platform that I'm posting it without having to go through any issues with copyright, right? So now that I've checked this, the next thing to do is to actually export the video. To do that, just click on export, and just like that. So the file name already exists, but I want to overwrite it. So click on OK, and just like that, my video has been exported. So that's exactly how to export your video on CapCut with the best quality possible. If you're enjoying this video so far, you're learning, then you're going to absolutely love my community. So I'm building a community called Creator Launchpad, where I'm going to be teaching so much more about video editing, not just how to edit on CapCut, but also how to edit professionally on softwares like Premiere Pro, After Effects, and so much more as well. So if you want to learn deeper, I have like a course that is like 4 hours long on how to use Premiere Pro and so much more. So if you want to learn more about how to be a professional editor, maybe not just how to edit talking head videos, but other type of videos like vlogs, documentaries and all of that, then all you need to do is click the link in my description so you can join. the wait list, right? I am going to be launching this community very soon, and I want to give 3 people free access to my community for the first 1 month. The reason I'm doing this is because I want the first 3 people to test the platform, go through the courses and every other thing that I'm offering in the community, and give me feedback before I open it to the public. So if you're interested in being one of the first 3 people to have access to the community, to test it out for me and give me feedback, then click that link below. It's completely free, and register. I'm going to randomly select 3 people that will have early access to the community as well. So click that link down below and I'll see you inside.